Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And this is a very long awaited video, at least on my part, where we will be talking about our Q3 progress and goals so that we can just keep track of where we are for the year of 2024. And since it is October and we've just entered Q4, I thought it would be a great time between our budgeting catch-ups to just take stock of where we are in our progress for the year so far and to basically compare notes, but also keep each other motivated for the rest of the year so that we can finish it off strong. So if you are into that, please stay tuned and I will get right into the video. For those of you who are new, I am Bo. I'm 31. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I currently have a net worth of $134,000, and I am on a journey to have a net worth of $1 million and to retire comfortably before retirement age. So if you are into that, please stay tuned. You are in the right place, and give me a subscribe because there will be way more videos where this one is coming from. For our goals for last video, our halfway mark, I let you guys know that we basically met all of my personal ones and I was moving on to more community goals, I guess, within my marriage to my husband. So I had two goals. The first was to refund my emergency fund, and that second one was to get rid of his debt so that we were both completely debt-free going into the last quarter of the year. So how do you think I did on this? Let's see right now. So the first goal, to refund my emergency fund, that did happen. We reached $20,500, so a little bit more than $20,000 in the first week of October. So I didn't necessarily make it before Q4, but the first paycheck of Q4, I was able to finish that out. So I just wanted to add that in there because why not? It's close enough. A week past is good enough for me. And yeah, so we made that goal. And what was really great for me about this goal was that it pretty much solidified that, okay, $20,000 is my new net that I'm going to be having as my threshold. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but a lot of people on their journeys to saving $100,000 or even $1 million, they say to focus on your first 10,000. And for a while, I did have only 10,000 in my savings until, the economy started getting crazy. I live in a very high cost area. And so I just wanted to beef it up some more to 20 just to see how that felt. And I've been kind of teetering in and out of the $20,000 threshold for all year now, basically. And I think I'm getting to a point of stasis where I think this is going to be the new level that I will feel comfortable at minimum in my savings account going forward. In order to reach this goal, I averaged around $2,000 per paycheck so that I could max out my emergency fund as fast as I could. And there's no way I would have been able to do this if I didn't get rid of my debt first. So that's me basically confirming to you guys that there's no way I would have been able to do this with high levels of debt. Just so you know, I feel like getting rid of my debt played a pivotal role in being successful in that part of my journey. And moving forward with my emergency fund, a lot of people reach their goals in their fund and they leave it at that. And they would say, okay, I'm at 20, I'm going to keep it there going forward. But as my life changes, I feel that I need more in order to feel safe. And I don't know if that's me being smart or me moving from a scarcity mindset. But my goal going forward is to add $10,000 to my emergency fund every year and then investing the difference. So that is how I plan to stay up with the current state of things, inflation, and just making sure that I'm completely covered in case of emergency. When I say I want to invest the rest, I mean, I can no longer put towards my Roth IRA since getting married. We do meet that threshold where you are basically iced out of that avenue. And so I wanted to turn my attention to my non-tax advantaged account where I currently have $300 total saved in there. I think that's where I'm going to be putting most of my extra cash going forward, just so that I'm investing something. My second goal was to get rid of my husband's student loan so that we could be 100% debt free as a couple. And going into the year, I wanted to, play a minimal part in helping him get rid of his student loan, because if he's debt free, that's only a benefit to me. And he had been really aggressively paying it down all year. Actually, since COVID, he'd been really throwing like $3,000+ a month at it. And we just got to a point where I was tired of waiting for it to happen. So we ended up paying off of his loans. So he no longer has debt and we are completely debt free. No credit cards, no student loans. We don't owe anybody anything. And that still hasn't sunk in yet. But in order to do that, we had to make somewhat of a sacrifice from our emergency funds. And it was for us both to take around $7,000 and throw it at the rest of his debt and then refill our emergency funds after the fact, which was not the most ideal, but the feeling of not having to give our money to the Department of Education is priceless. And I didn't realize how much free cash I have now to save or even to spend if I want to until we got rid of that loan. So again, this was completed in late August, so well into Q3 of 2024. And this is honestly the main reason why we had to refund our emergency funds. And we were able to do that again in October because of this loan being gone. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about using your emergency fund to pay off debt. And I understand where a lot of people are coming from when they say you shouldn't use your emergency fund or clear your savings in order to pay off debt. And where I come from with that is that I don't feel like I cleared my savings. I used 7,000 out of 20. So I was left with around 13. That's not an ideal number, but it's still over 10, which is a pretty healthy amount. And I was able to refund that quickly. So I personally stand by my decision to kind of empty part of your emergency fund to do what you need to do, but it's purely circumstantial. And it's only if you can see down that runway a clear path to refilling that fund as quickly as possible. So those were my two goals left for the year, really. And I remember in my last video where we did our mid-year check-in, I wanted to ease into the new year and not really push myself too hard. So I did plan two other kind of soft goals so that I didn't put too much stress on an already very productive year. One of those soft goals were to save for my end of year trip, which I am in the process of doing. I currently have $500 saved towards my trip, and my total saved for my trip that I want is $3,000. Now, I already did the factors and the figures for this trip, and it came out to around that much total between me and my husband, but split between both of us for only the accommodations and the car rental, it was around $1,863. So that is what I was planning to use for the accommodation. And then the other, I don't know, $1,100 or $1,200 or so dollars I was planning to use for food and then to do activities. And I really want this sinking fund to be what I use for the trip and nothing else, because I will be getting paid during this trip. I want that money to be set aside for the months to come because I have other plans for that money. And I am trying to get out of a habit of using money that I get right away for the things that I'm currently doing. And I'm trying to consciously plan in advance for things like trips and purchases that I want so that I am not being surprised by the sticker at the end of the month when it comes to spending. So I do know that I will be getting paid on the second leg of my trip. And I really want that money to go straight to savings and investing while I am able to focus the money that I already saved in November and October and use that for maybe skiing and drinking good coffee and just enjoying the holidays while we are on vacation. I really want to use this time to pause from everything productivity and just reflect on everything that we've been working towards for the year, as well as kind of recover from just the craziness of it all. And my last goal was to invest the rest of my money in the stock market. And because I am no longer able to invest in my Roth IRA, I do plan again to focus my efforts on my individual brokerage. I don't know if you guys were aware if I made this a clear subject on my channel, but I really put investing on the back burner in 2024 so that I could finally get rid of my debt. And it was a decision that I feel like I've been avoiding for a very long time, just because I'm very much in the mindset of investing while you pay off debt. Because honestly, if I had waited until I was debt debt-free to start investing, I probably wouldn't have started until maybe late 20s. Because I started when I was 24, I am well into the six figures invested, and I'm now debt-free as well. And I just feel like I would have been in not as good of a place if I had waited until I was debt-free first. There was always going to be something in the way of getting debt-free in the past. So I'm very glad that I made that decision and put a lot of my money, most of my money, in avenues with which I can't grab it until I'm 59 and a half years old. With that said, though, because of my efforts towards my Roth IRA, my 401k, I have only $300 in my individual brokerage at the age of 31, and I am not too pleased about that. So my efforts going forward will be towards my individual non-tax advantaged account, because that's the only option I have at the moment. I am still actively investing in my 401k with my job. I am very grateful that I've been doing that the whole time that I have taken a step back from my non-work related accounts to get debt free. So I have still been investing around $990 or so a month in the S&P 500 while I was focused on using my post-tax dollars to get rid of debt and just really beef up my savings. But I want to keep moving on and growing my momentum by adding my active dollars now to my non-tax advantaged account. Fun fact, my Roth IRA has grown around $26,000 in the year of 2024, and I have not invested a single dime. And that is the power of compound interest, as well as how crazy fast your money starts to grow once you reach that $100,000 threshold. So just keep that in mind. Once you do a lot of the work up front, your money really starts to work for you, and it's almost scary how fast it grows. So that is it for my goals. That is everything that I have planned for the rest of the year, and I am just feeling optimistic for the rest of the year. I know mainly it's because I have reached my goals, and I just feel like I, in the past, was not always able to reach my goals because they were just very lofty. They weren't, realistic, right? I would have a goal to say lose 20 pounds, not by a certain time, not in certain increments, but I would just say I have this goal, and then I would just hope and pray that it works. Whereas I took a different approach in 2024, and I really broke things down. I think the little goal tracker in my budget planner helped a lot because it helped me plan things in a way that was broken up into quarterly sections. And so I was able to focus on the part in order to make the whole. And I think moving forward, I'm going to be focusing on that for the years to come, so that I keep having years that it won't always be as successful as this one was, but you can only work and do your part and hope. So that's what I'm going to do. What I want to know is what you guys are up to, how your goals went for Q3, and what the rest of your goals are for Q4. We are so close to the end of the year. We have 2.5 months left of the year, and this year went by so fast. So much happened, and I just want to hear in the comments where you guys are in your mind, where you guys are and how you feel about the year as a whole, and I will see you in the next video.